I wasn't meant to be out there alone. When I told my brother I planned to hike the Ashwood Forest Trail, he laughed. That place isn't even on the park maps, he said. Probably just an old deer run. Maybe he was right, but that's what made it perfect. I didn't want signs or rangers or people. I wanted isolation. Real, untouched quiet. No texts, no pings. Just me, the trees, and the open sky. Ashwood wasn't easy to find. It split off from the main loop, hidden behind a rusted chain someone had cut long ago. A crooked sign barely legible through moss. Read a no access. I stepped over the chain and left the world behind. The first day was bliss. The air was sharp, the trees dense enough to dim the sun. Pine and damp earth filled my lungs. I followed the trail for miles until it vanished into thorn and underbrush. Still, I kept going. No sounds but wind in the leaves. No voices, no interference, just what I came for. I found the journal the second day, tucked beside a half-buried fire ring at a forgotten campsite. The pages were swollen with damp but still readable. Whoever left it hadn't been gone long. The ash was fresh. A sealed ramen pack lay nearby. But no tent, no gear, nothing else, just the journal. At first it seemed ordinary. Notes on the weather, coordinates, sketches of plants. But halfway through, the tone shifted. July 18, something's wrong. Heard footsteps last night. Not an animal, too heavy, too slow. It circled my tent. Didn't sleep. July 19, saw it. I think, tall, way too tall, pale. Stood just past the clearing. When I moved, it slipped back into the trees. I read faster, skin crawling. The entries got shorter, more frantic. Strange noises, movement at night. A shape that never approached but never left. Page after page of unraveling thoughts. Then the last entry, July 26. It's not just watching, it's learning. I closed the book. A cold breeze stirred dead leaves. I shook off the chill. People get scared out here. Maybe they saw a bear, a hiker, something explainable. But those words, it's learning, stayed with me. I packed the journal and kept moving. That night, I camped beside a shallow creek under the open sky. The stars peeked through the treetops, pale and indifferent. I ate, read a few more pages, tried to ignore the sinking feeling the journal left behind. Just fear. I told myself, just a story. Still, I zipped the tent shut tight, just in case. Sometime after midnight, I woke. At first, I didn't know why. The forest was still. No wind, no bugs, just silence. I lay still, listening. Footsteps. Slow, intentional, outside my tent. I held my breath. They circled, once, twice, again, closer each time. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. Could they hear it? Then, silence. No more steps. I didn't sleep. Morning came. No tracks. The ground was soft from rain, but nothing had moved through. Maybe it was a deer. Maybe a dream. I told myself that. I packed up and pressed on. By day 4, I couldn't shake it. Something was behind me. I kept spotting flashes of white through the branches, too tall to be an animal, shapes moving just out of view. My compass spun. My GPS failed. Every time I tried to backtrack, I ended up somewhere new. The forest didn't follow rules anymore. I found the stone at dusk on day 5. It sat in a sunken clearing, covered in vines. At first, it was just a rock, mossy and old. But when I brushed it clean, my stomach dropped. A name was carved there. My name was carved there. My name. Below it. July 29. Tomorrow. I stumbled back, heart racing. This couldn't be. No one knew I was here. I told no one where I was going. And yet the carving was fresh, edges clean. Like someone was expecting me. I ran. The journal felt hot in my pack. And behind me, I swear, I heard footsteps. Slow, measured, following. When I finally stopped, gasping and pale, I didn't know if I was safe. The woods looked the same everywhere. Quiet, infinite. I opened the journal again. It's not just watching. The words carried weight now. A warning. Branches tore my skin as I crashed through the forest. I ran until I collapsed. Lungs burning, legs useless. Silence returned, thick, suffocating. When I looked back, there was nothing. But I knew it hadn't gone. It was still there, watching, learning. Night fell. I didn't sleep. The journal lay beside me, its pages blurred by my shaking hands. I reread each entry, searching for an escape, but the last line echoed louder than the rest. It's not just watching, it's learning. The fire barely clung to life, flickering in the damp night. I clutched the flashlight, sweeping its beam across the shadows. Beyond its glow, the forest pressed inward like a living wall. The trees seemed to lean closer each time I blinked. Somewhere out there, it was watching. I should have left. I knew that. The moment I saw my name on the altar, I should have run. But something stronger than fear held me here, a gnawing, monstrous curiosity. I needed to know what I had found, even if it killed me. Even if it killed me. A branch snapped. I froze, a shock of ice in my veins. I aimed the flashlight toward the noise, but saw nothing. Just empty trees, endless and dark. Still, I felt it. Waiting, just beyond the light. I grabbed the journal again, flipping to the earliest sketches. My pulse pounded as I touched each rough outline. The faceless figure lurked in them all, growing clearer with every page. At first, it was distant, a shape among trees. But the last drawing shattered me. It was close, right behind the writer's tent. I slammed the journal shut, stomach heaving. The wind whispered through the trees. Faint voices, soft and chilling, floated on the air. I looked again, but nothing moved. Oh no, I told myself. Adjust your mind. But I didn't believe it. The journal echoed in my head. It's warnings. It's fear. What happened to the writer? Did they escape? Or had the forest claimed them? Some part of me already knew. The altar. I couldn't forget the feel of it. The stone surface, rough and cold. My name carved in fresh lines. It wasn't chance. It was waiting, and now it had me. A sound. Closer now. I held my breath and turned off the flashlight, plunging myself into darkness. I didn't want to see. I couldn't. But I listened. Footsteps crunched through undergrowth, slow and deliberate. They circled the camp, closer with each pass. I clutched the flashlight like a weapon. It knows I'm here. The footsteps stopped, just beyond reach. The air thickened, pressing on my chest. I bit my lip, stifling a scream. Then silence. When I finally moved, the fire was low, casting long, twisted shadows. I stood, muscles aching. I couldn't stay. I had to move. Sitting here would be suicide. I grabbed the journal, stamped the fire out, and vanished into the trees. The flashlight lit a narrow path through darkness. Each step screamed to run. The quiet was unbearable. Every footfall sounded like a drumbeat in the void. I expected a hand to reach out, drag me back. I tried to find the trail, but the forest twisted around me. Landmarks vanished. The path led nowhere. Terror swelled. I was lost. The journal had warned me. The forest keeps you. It wants you. A new sound split the silence. Not footsteps, tapping. Bone on stone. Everywhere. Nowhere. I knew I shouldn't follow it, but something inside me broke. I walked toward the sound. It grew louder, each step dragging me forward. I entered the clearing and froze. Another altar. Larger, its surface slick and wet. A new carving. My name. Fresh. Raw. The flashlight shook in my grip. I wanted to run, but my legs locked. Terror rooted me. A shadow moved. At the edge of the clearing, it stood tall, grotesque, the thing from the sketches. More real, worse than I imagined. Its head tilted, studying, learning. I stumbled back, a scream caught in my throat. The air thickened like molasses. It stepped toward me. Then again. I ran. Branches tore me open. My heart pounded like war drums. The tapping never stopped, patient and steady. I ran until I fell, collapsed beside a twisted oak, gasping, trembling. Silence fell. No more steps, no tapping. But it was still there, somewhere, waiting. I pulled the journal out, flipped to the last page. There, scrawled under the final sketch, a message I hadn't seen. It only needs your name to find you. I dropped the book, hand pressed to the cut on my wrist, where the stone had marked me. My blood, my name. It had everything now. The forest wasn't peaceful anymore. It was alive, watching, waiting. And I no longer felt like a guest. I belonged. After that night, after glimpsing the figure beyond my tent, I packed in a fog, desperate to flee. I told myself it was fatigue, a trick of the light. But the journal in my bag burned like a weight I couldn't shake. I needed out. I needed to forget. But as I followed the path back to the trailhead, a tightness gripped my gut. Something felt off. Landmarks were missing. A fallen birch I'd stepped over before was gone. A stream flowed the wrong way. No matter how far I went, the exit never came. The forest thickened, its limbs curling inward like skeletal fingers. I should have hit the road long ago. Dusk bled into the sky, bruising the clouds. My GPS glitched, then died. My phone, fully charged, went dark. As night fell, a crushing silence smothered everything. No birds, no breeze. Only stillness, wrong and suffocating. I set up camp, hands trembling. I forced down a granola bar, but it churned my stomach. I wanted to walk through the night, but the dark felt like it had weight, like skin against skin. I grabbed the journal. Its leather felt colder, like the woods had drained it of life. Flipping through, I saw a new warning beneath the last. It's not just watching, it's learning, now followed by another line, crooked and jagged. It knows your name. My lungs seized. My name etched into that stone altar. Something had expected me. I turned pages, my fingers shaking. Each image of that faceless form looked more detailed, more alive. One page stopped me cold. A rough forest map. At its center, unreachable by trail, was a symbol I recognized. The altar. Against all reason, I felt drawn back. Maybe if I returned the journal, it would let me leave. That night, sleep came fitfully, full of nightmares. Towering blank-faced beings whispering my name. I woke in darkness. I stuffed the journal into my pack and set off toward the altar. My compass spun wildly. The trees twisted in ways they shouldn't. The air grew sharp with metallic tang. Every step deepened my dread, but some awful pull kept me going. By noon, I found it. The altar jutted from the ground like a jagged fang. I touched the stone. My name still carved, the mark still fresh. I placed the journal on top and backed away. At first, nothing. Then a low sound rippled across the woods. A scrape, dry and whispering. My skin crawled. I turned, but the whisper built into words. "Oh, why did you come back?" I froze. That voice, thin, empty, came from everywhere. My heart pounded. I spun around, but the forest was still. I bolted. Branches lashed my arms as I tore through the darkening woods. Shadows seemed to move with me. The whispers never stopped. By nightfall, I collapsed near a rocky ledge, thoughts broken and disjointed. I had to leave. I had to tell someone, but who would believe me? A chill slithered over my skin. I turned and saw it, the figure. Closer now, pale, still, voiceless. It didn't move, but its stare drilled into me. Intelligent, ancient, and worse, aware. It wasn't watching anymore. It was understanding. I blinked. It was gone. I should have run, should have escaped, but instead I stayed. I don't know why. Maybe I thought I could undo it. Or maybe it had already taken hold. Back at camp, nothing was as I left it. My sleeping bag was flipped inside out. My boots were missing. The journal, the one I left on the altar, was back in my pack. I turned to the final page. More words. Not mine. The path is open. You let it through. I snapped the book shut. Whatever I'd awoken wasn't bound to the forest anymore. That thought hit harder than the cold. Later, I heard it again. Soft steps circling my camp. Slow. Measured. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Not until sunrise did they stop. I don't know how far I ran. The woods blurred around me, all limbs and roots. My lungs burned. My pulse roared. And yet I felt it behind me. Not chasing, just following. Patient. I stumbled onto an overgrown trail. My legs screamed, but I didn't stop. Not after what I'd seen. I clutched the journal like a curse. I wanted to toss it, but something made me hold on. The words from the last page spun endlessly in my mind. It's not just watching, it's learning. I didn't remember this path. The deeper I went, the less I recognized. My compass was useless. My phone stayed blank. Time and space twisted. The forest felt endless, like it wanted me deeper. The figure had changed, no longer a distant blur. It was sharp now, clear, its faceless face. Wrong in ways I can't explain, smooth. Bone white. And something else. Its presence lingered like a whisper at the edge of thought. I broke into a clearing. And there it was, the altar. Again. Somehow, I had returned. My name glowed freshly carved, as if alive. My journal dropped from my hand. I stumbled back and kicked something. Another journal, identical. I opened it, heart sinking. The handwriting was mine, not old entries, recent ones. Each page tracked my current steps. My fear, my sightings. I flipped through, searching for the last page, and there it was, new writing I hadn't made. You are not alone. A branch cracked. I spun, frozen. It stood at the clearing's edge, closer than ever. Its head tilted, studying. Its stance was new, no longer distant. Now purposeful. Like it had figured something out. My knees shook. What do you want? I whispered. It didn't speak. It just watched. And I knew, in some primal way, it had begun learning me. How I moved, how I feared. It was adapting. I grabbed both journals and fled. I don't remember the road. But at sunrise, I emerged. My clothes were torn, skin raw. My body was failing, but I didn't stop until I reached my car. Right where I left it. Normal. As if none of it had happened, I drove, never looked back. When I got home, I locked every door and window. I told myself it was over, that it was bound to the woods. But sleep never came. Shadows shifted where they shouldn't. The air felt too heavy. And then, I opened the journal again. The last page had changed. A sketch. My house. My bedroom window. And a new line in my handwriting. It knows where you are. I don't know how long it's been. Days bleed together. I haven't stepped outside since that night. Too afraid. I burned the journal, but it doesn't matter. I still feel its eyes, always watching. Some nights I see flickers at the edge of my vision. I tell myself